Now going back to our plan, what I've drawn is a circle on this face here. I've drawn it on that surface. But in reality, our circle actually sticks out the front. It comes forward. So what I have to do is move this circle out in this direction. Now notice the circle comes out going in this direction, which is parallel to this edge here. Remember, this edge is this one. So what I have to do is go to each of these construction points and project a line out in this direction. So that's what I'm going to do now. I take my set square, and this is where we really have to try and focus on things. What I'm going to do is switch colour of pen from orange, and I'm going to go to green. Every one of these points has to be projected in this direction at 30 degrees. So I'm going to quickly just do a little short line. Some of them overlap, which makes it a little bit awkward to follow them, but just keep your eye on the numbers and you won't go wrong. And I'm only projecting out 10mm, so it's not terribly far. Again, this one almost overlaps. 6, 7, 8, and finally point number 9. So I've now got all my little points, so like little needles coming from the front. Each one of them has to be 10mm long, because this part from here to here, I'm being told that's 10mm. So what I have to do is take each of these little lines and make sure they're 10. I could do it with a ruler, but once again I'm just going to step off 10mm using my rule here and my compass, and I'll go around and step off 10 in each one. Being really careful at the points where it overlaps, because it's very easy to miss a point. What I'm drawing here is a circle parallel to the one which I've already drawn. Parallel circle means it should look the same, but it's stepped out a distance. So here are all my points. I'll just make them a little bit more obvious. There's a point there, there's one there, one there, one there, there, and all the way around. Now, the clever ones amongst you will begin to see where that circle's coming from. So what I'm going to do is join it together again. So taking the best smooth curve that I can manage, I'm going to go around each of the points. Remember, when you're doing this, you can get off your seat, and even off your seat, and move round to try and keep your hand on the inside of the curve. Gradually just finishing off, final 2 points. So I now have my orange circle, which is on the surface, and a green circle which is stepped out from the surface. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to line them in black so you can see what the finished outline looks like. I know that I'm going to see all of the green circle because that's the part that's closest to me. What I'm not sure about is how much of the orange circle is obscured. So very quickly, back round to my green circle again. Remember, when you're doing this, you can unclip the paper if you like. You can step up, walk round about your desk. That's all perfectly fine. It's very awkward when your hand is not inside the circle. So, what I can see from this is, there's my circle at the front. I won't be able to see this part of the surface circle because it's hidden by it. So it's really easy for me to go around and line in the back part, which is still visible, the part which isn't hidden. Now what happens is, when I get to these points, I'm not quite sure what happens. Something happens, I know, but I'm not dead sure what. There must be some way that this is joined up. The clue is this little straight edge here. What that tells me is that the back circle and the front circle are joined by a straight line. How we find that straight line is, we take our 60-30 set square and we slide it across until it just kisses both circles at the same time. Where it kisses them, we draw a little straight line. Move it up to the top of the page. Where it kisses both circles at the same time, it's called a tangent point. We draw a little straight line. And that gives me the finishing of that edge and the finishing of that edge. My final task, should I wish to, is to go back round the drawing and just line in the final outline. Remember, in a test or an exam of any kind, you will get extra marks for going round and finishing in your drawing. We're concentrating on neatness, so at the corners make sure you don't cross over. Make sure you actually join the lines up and you don't leave a little gap in between them. If you've done proper construction lines, nice and light, there shouldn't really be anything to rub out. If you have to rub them out, it's going to make a mess of your drawing. Obviously I've done mine in felt tip pen, so I won't be rubbing anything out. And don't ever put Tipp-Ex near a drawing board. Once you get Tipp-Ex on it, you'll never get it off. And the final line at the front, from there down to there. So what we've got there is one method of drawing an isometric circle flat on a surface, on this surface here, and I've also shown you how to take it from that surface and project it out, because it's very unusual in real life to have a circle on the surface. It's generally something like a camera lens or a candlestick holder or a button or something which is raised from the surface. So what you've seen there is a way how to do it. If alternatively it was not a button sticking out the front but was actually a recess going in the way, for example in a candlestick holder where it's a slot to put the candle in, the process is the same, except this time instead of projecting out towards the front, these lines would have gone back in that direction and they would have measured back 10mm instead of measuring out 10mm. This is the first in a series of tutorials for online for graphic communications. Here's hoping it's been of some use. It's been such a joy to do.